Let's examine your head. Everything seems a bit normal. Yes, your hair seems to be unaffected by the experiment.
Breathe a little life into the clouds. Some little... What's up there, pirates? So today we are going to be doing a little bit of painting per request from my patron Aligarden. I apologize for the goofy setup, but with my tiny little closet, there's not a whole lot I can do. So this is our canvas. Started off in the traditional style of using a very thin coat of white just to help out with blending and stuff. My backdrop is going to get dirty. That's just going to have to happen today. So we're gonna start off with reds. Some reds. We need a moss red, grande moss red. And this is one of my favorite types of painting. It is going to be a sunset, so to speak, or die trying. Alright. Yeah, here we go. Get that nice red in there. All the way up in the corner. And it kind of blends with the white to give it a little bit of extra detail. It's not just a solid red, because that would be just boring. We don't want boring, unless boring is what you want, in which case, by all means, simplicity does have its beauty. So after that, we are going to take a little bit of our red and a little bit of our yellow, and I have to apologize if you see me sweating profusely. A lot of you guys know that I work in a little 4x4 closet, and it is just so hot. So we're moving on. We're trying to get a little bit of orange going here, mixing our red with our yellow. Should have brought more red, but I think we'll be okay. We're going to get a little bit lower here, and we are going to add some space. And the reason I'm not overly worried about these white little patches here is because those are going to be our clouds in theory. So then we're going to take our yellow and I'm going to come down here. Still a little bit of orange in there, and that's just perfect. A little bit of orange in there isn't going to hurt. In fact, I kind of prefer it. Bring a little of that orange down. Again, just blend it out real nice. This is my favorite kind of painting. It's the sky, because it reminds me of when I was a kid. And if you'll just give me 1 second, I'm going to go clean up my brush, and then we are going to continue. Alrighty, got my brush cleaned off. Nobody worry, I made sure to beat the devil out of it off camera, because that's just how you do it. So up next, I'm going to be mixing in just a little bit of blue, just a little bit of black, and just a little bit of green, with the majority being the blue and the black, because we're going to add some water down here. And if you go in the crisscross motion, you'll get a nice wave effect, which is always cool. If you haven't painted before, I highly recommend you consider taking it up. It is so relaxing, so chill. And we may have gone a little too hard on the green there, but we'll see. Because we want to get a nice deep aqua effect, and it's okay. As you can see, it's a little bit darker here because I got a little more black. But the thing is, that kind of gives the picture depth, and it's like Bob Ross always says, no mistakes, just happy accidents. And that's the truth. And I'm really happy right now with the way this color came out. I think it's absolutely fantastic. A little darker over here, a little thicker. Just make sure to try and cover everything. But you can see what I mean about how when you go in your crisscross pattern, you get that really nice wave effect. It's neat. And I don't mind, if there's a little bit of white showing, because that can kind of represent the way the waves are running and everything. It's not a big deal. It doesn't look bad. It just looks like a different way to see things, if that makes any sense. Just a different way to see things. So hopefully this is a good mixture, because we're going to hit the bottom. We're going to go pretty dark here. Need to touch up that side a little bit. And you can see how nice it looks with those streaks in it. It's just great. I apologize if you can see me sweating a bunch. It's just, I think it got up to 110 degrees today. We're just barely starting to go down, so we're probably at like 106. And my closet's about 4.5 feet by 4.5 feet, and there's no ventilation whatsoever. So it's just one of those things. If it's off-putting to you, I apologize, but it's the situation. So there's nothing I can do about it. I'm pretty accustomed to heat. I've worked many a summer outside in my neck of the woods, and it just makes you a little bit tougher to the elements. I do really well in heat and really well in cold, but I like to think that what's going on in this picture is just perfectly warm. Maybe it's I'll say medium 70s with just a little breeze, a nice little breeze. So this is where we're at so far. We have our sky here, we have our ocean going on here, and I think that looks pretty good so far. And I want to do a little bit of blending, but it looks like the red needs a little bit more time to set, so I'm not quite ready to blend up there just yet. But it's not hurting. It's not hurting anything. Actually, I think I'm going to grab one of my little smaller brushes here. Just do little dabs of white and kind of add a little more life to the waves here. Just some little thises and that's. There they are. Just a little something. It doesn't have to look realistic, It's just the way you want to depict it. Good. So, one of my favorite things to do with these paintings is go grab another brush that I need right now. Alrighty, so I'm back and I cleaned my brush off. Rest assured, I did beat the devil out of it. So I'm gonna borrow a little bit of red. I'm gonna borrow a little bit of yellow. I'm gonna borrow a little bit of black from my investment over here. We're just gonna mix those up. Mix them up a little more red. Mix them up good. Probably not gonna have enough. I might have to go grab some more. But the black and yellow predominantly are gonna be my important factors here. The red is just a nice touch. Makes it seem a little more interesting. So with this yellow and black with a hint of red, we're going to do something that I always like to do with these paintings, which is we're gonna build ourselves a little bank of rocks here, and it's gonna come up. It's gonna come up right here. Yep. Nice little. I don't want it too big. This is just gonna be a nice little retreat, if you will. This is going to be like a secret little retreat here that you wouldn't know about unless you've been here before. And it's just going to be tucked away in the corner here. Very nice. Just little rock formations coming down. Little mixed in with the yellow, a little mixed in with the sea, but we got some dark parts in there. That's nice. And then we're gonna add a little basin to it so that it kind of comes out a little bit. Nice. And then maybe just a couple little random formations off in the distance there, little rock formations. And there's our little cove. Nothing too crazy. Nothing too eccentric. Just a nice little formation. Going off into the sea. Getting covered up by those waves. Looks good. Looks good. So we have our little rock formation there. And then we are just gonna start blending out that sky. Start blending out that sky. Make those colors come together. Make those colors come together. Breathe a little life into the clouds, some little wisps, little intricate details. Bring this all together very nicely. There we go. See that? Right there. Touch up a little bit. Perfect. Now that is a sky that I would like to see. So we have our rock cove and we have our little sky. And I've never been particularly good at pulling this part off, but I'm not gonna lie, I do enjoy having it. So we're gonna take this here. We're just gonna dab a little right there. And that can be your sun or your moon, or whatever you feel like letting it be. Just there it is, up there in the sky. All by its lonesome but never lonely. Maybe we can just thumb in a little bit of black right there. Maybe just do some little detail on the clouds, add a little bit of color. You know what, the hell with it. We'll do a little bit of this too. A little bit of that. That's a little bit of a gray cloud there. But we'll make sure that it keeps its silver lining, because that's what we're all about. And just a tiny dab more over here. Let that little cloud do what it wants to do. Maybe a little storm is coming. Maybe our little cove is gonna get some rain. And before we finish up, I think our little cove needs some life. So we're gonna take our green and our yellow here. We're gonna make them dance. Give us a nice little bright green, nothing too crazy. Nice little bright green, and I'm just gonna put a dot, just a dot of black in there to make sure that we don't go too hardcore, and maybe there's some foliage up here. Maybe, why not? I mean, it can be whatever we want it to be, right? I mean, nobody even has to say that this is anything on this planet. This could be a million miles away, or it could be right next door to you. It really boils down to what you like to do personally. And me, I like to think that it just doesn't matter. It just doesn't matter. It's all about what you like, what you would like to see. I think a lot of people have the idea in their head when they paint that there's only one way, and that's to just paint things that you've seen or paint things that you'd like to see on this, our planet. But I like to think that this doesn't have to belong to any specific set of rules. For instance, we have highlights here, right around here, that don't make sense if that's the sun or the moon. But for all we know, there's a moon further off to the side that we just can't see. And that's what makes this our painting, is that it's up to us. And that's what makes it so cool and personal. And that's what I really, really like about painting. It's up to you. It doesn't have to be overly complicated. It doesn't have to be overly complex. It can just be whatever is in your head. So that's where we're at with that. I guess in summary here, we can always just take a little, if I can get to the black, I can just draw some little birds or bats, whatever you'd like to see. Birds or bats, take your pick. There we go, just some minor details like that to make it a little more fun. Just to make it a little, there we go. Look at that, that's cool. That's cool. Alright guys, well, I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you enjoyed watching it. I'm not opposed to the idea of doing this again. The reason I picked this is because I've already painted something similar a couple times and I felt more comfortable doing it. I just love the way these skies come out, and the yellow and the orange and the red all blend together. I just think it looks fantastic, and the ocean is just beautiful. So we'll do a close-up here, and then we'll go ahead and wrap up our video for the day. Pirates, I really wanted to thank you guys for joining me today. As always, a huge thanks to Alicardin, who requested that I do a Bob Ross roleplay, but I felt it would be better to just be myself and show you what I can do. So I hope you enjoyed. I hope you guys have a great night. And as always, it's time.